All right, so in today's video, we're going to be comparing this $25 Igloo Latitude 16 quart cooler with the $200 Yeti Roadie 15, and it's a 15 quart cooler, as in the name. Not going to waste a lot of time in this video. The main purpose of this is to see if this Igloo can hold up in comparison to the Roadie 15. Now, I've already done a review on this cooler. You can check that out. I'll link it in the description. I love this cooler. The ice retention, though, is not the greatest. So I thought, let's go ahead and run this in a comparison video with this Igloo. And if it's somewhere close as far as this one lasts a day, this one lasts a day, I'm going to come right out and say it that I'd probably go with the Igloo for 25 bucks. I mean, you could demolish a couple of these. You could demolish 4 or 5 of them before you ever paid for this one. This one probably longevity-wise is going to last you a lot longer, but like I said, if you can replace them 4 or 5 times, then longevity really doesn't matter so much, especially when you're paying 200 bucks up front. But we'll go ahead and jump in here. This is the Roadie 15. You got the latches, a drain plug. That's the main difference between this cooler and this Igloo. And stature. I need to get a tape on this. I'll show you here in a second, but just looking at it from the eye here without throwing a tape on it, they're the same height, same width, and I believe the Roadie 15 is just a touch longer than the Igloo Latitude here. Let me get a tape for you. So the length on this Igloo is right at 14 inches. And then on the Roadie 15, you're about 17 inches. So 16 quarts, 15 quarts. And I guess if you want to look at the insides here and compare them, I think the Yeti has thicker insulation. It for sure has thicker insulation on the walls. So that should play a role in the ice retention. The Yeti does have a nice strap. You know, does it make up $175 worth? I don't know. It can detach. It adjusts so you can throw it over your shoulder and stuff. And then the Igloo just has a regular old handle. But it does have the 2 small cup holders on top. Not going to hold anything, though, if you knock into it. But what we're going to do to test these, we're going to load up the same amount of... We're probably going to do water bottles, maybe a couple sodas. Then we're going to run up, get the same amount of ice, and load these things up, and then just check in on them periodically and see how they perform. I'm not pre-chilling the coolers. I think that's stupid. So if you're going to comment that, just you're wasting your time. I don't know who in the world pre-chills a cooler or sacrifices a bag of ice. I think that's one of the dumbest things in the world. But I'm not a cooler scientist. I'm just trying to be practical. So let's go ahead and take these into the garage. We'll get some of the water bottles. They are pre-chilled. And I'm going to use the same type of water bottles, same temperature, everything in both of these coolers. So it should be a pretty good test. Now, this one is a quart bigger. Not quite sure if it's the internal volume. I would guess the internal volume's a quart bigger, or how exactly they take that measurement. But just know that you're going to basically get the same storage out of both of these coolers, and potentially a little bit more out of this one because you don't have as thick of walls. But I would expect this one to be about the same amount of ice retention as far as the size goes. You're not gonna, this isn't like comparing a 30 quart cooler to a 15. We're basically at the same amount here, so that's not gonna make a huge difference as far as storage goes and keeping things cool. So let's go ahead and get this loaded up, and we'll take it uptown and get some ice for them, and then we'll start checking in on it periodically. What else can we do? Got a couple of these, I don't know what these things are that my wife buys. Ultra filtered milkshakes. I have had them. They are good, but I feel like they're probably expensive. I'll put one in each. They are exactly the same size. I think we'll do it like that. Let me show you what we got in here. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 water bottles in each, and a couple sodas, and a filtered milkshake, whatever the heck that is. in each. This should leave plenty of room. We're gonna fill this ice in here and pack it in here as tight as we can get it. So no shortage on ice in this one. And this would be, I guess, maybe 1 or 2 people's worth of drinks for, say, a day or so. So let's go ahead and get these in the truck and get the ice in them. No way, it's gonna give me all that back. Holy crap. All in coins. What the? It's like $18 in freaking change. Oh my goodness. What am I gonna do with these? Ooh, I wanna drop $1. That's so these bags are kind of melty. It's not the best ice ever. What I'm going to do is put them in here for now, and I'm going to go home and freeze them for a minute, and then we'll reload them. Put these down here. Come back and get those in a little bit. Alright, so you can see definitely the internal volume is just a little bit tighter on the Yeti as the Igloo. We still got a little bit of room in here for ice, but I might go ahead and grab a few ice cubes out of the kitchen, out of the refrigerator, and then try to put a few in each, just so we're pretty close on both of them. Alright, so I got this out of the refrigerator. Alright, so we will leave these and we'll check them maybe later on this evening, but most likely tomorrow when I get off work, which will be about 21 hours from now or so. But I'll try to check them in the morning if I can remember first, and we'll see how each one of them's doing. But just for reference, it's about 85 degrees probably to 90 degrees in this garage. Super humid, not direct sunlight, but I might move them to the back porch tomorrow when we're gone, just so they can catch some direct sunlight. All right, so it's been 12 hours. We'll go ahead and open up each one here and see what we've got. Wow, honestly it looks pretty identical. There's a little bit of like shrinkage here around the edges on both. You can see there's a little gap there, but a nice block, like a solid block, is formed on both of them. So far after 12 hours it's looking pretty good. Alright, so we're about 21 to 22 hours into the test now. We're going to open it up and see how each cooler is doing. Still a solid block of ice here on the Yeti. You can see underneath it. We'll go ahead and break it up. Still quite a bit of ice on that one though, so it looks like that one's going to run at least another 12 hours or so. And then here we got a solid block of ice too, and quite a bit of water underneath it. Break that one up. Still
still usable. It does look like the Yeti might be outperforming it just a little bit, but we'll check back in here maybe in, I don't know, 6 hours or so. We're getting ready to go to the lake for a little bit, so maybe tonight we'll look back and see how both are doing. But so far, both holding up pretty well. So we are about 36 hours in, and let's see what we've got. Yesterday afternoon, I went ahead and pulled 2 water bottles out of both of these right after I showed you the ice test. So a little bit of ice left in there. It's still pretty melty, and about the same, honestly. Not much difference. So we will go ahead and continue the test and give it another probably 12 hours or so. All right, so it's been about 48 hours now since we started the test, and the Igloo is all out of ice. And we're gonna crack open the Yeti, and we still have a very small amount. You can see there's just, I don't know, a handful of pieces still floating. So pretty close in performance as far as ice goes. The Yeti did win though, so you're gonna get a little bit better retention out of this. But is it $200 worth of retention in comparison to this $25 cooler? I don't know. That's up for you to decide. Let's go ahead and close these. And there's one more thing I'd like to test, and it's a pretty dumb test, but let's just see what happens when we lay these things over. We'll go ahead and pretend that we just drop that one, and you can see the water just comes pouring out of it. Let's see if the same thing happens with the Yeti. The strap, I'm kind of anticipating that it will. Doesn't look like it. So a little bit came out, but not much. So the Yeti did hold up better there, tumped over. That's actually, it's pretty impressive that there's not a lot of water spilling out of there. It's just got a better seal on it, I guess. All right, so that's gonna wrap up this video. Drop a comment below and tell me which cooler that you would end up purchasing here. Big price difference. Performance, not so much different. The Yeti looks a little bit better in my mind. It holds water when it spills over. Cost way more. Maybe a little bit more durable as far as if you dropped it off a cliff or something. This thing probably will hold together, as opposed to this. It seems like it would fall apart pretty easy, but when you're talking $25 compared to $200, that's a huge difference. So if you found this video helpful, let me know in the comments below, or if I missed anything critical between the two, or you have any insight between the two, also drop that in a comment below. But that's gonna wrap it up, and I appreciate y'all watching.